Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome back to The Right Swipe.
Hey, everybody. I'm back.
Curtis Joseph.
And Olivia.
Olivia Bauer-Nelson. And Josh Dean.
Hello.
Sorry, guys, I wasn't here last time. I was at actually a spider conference. I study spider behavior, and I was presenting it. Yeah.
That sounds so ridiculous to actually...
I know. It is ridiculous. Like, honestly,
a spider I imagine when I first hear that, I think of like a Comic-Con but with spiders and just like everyone dressed up as spiders.
It's kind of like that. I mean, they're not dressed up like spiders, but they all dressed up with like spider shirts.
Do you have like
spider scarves?
Do you have like spider leggings or something?
Personally, I don't have much spider gear. I feel a little bit left out, actually, at the meeting.
Hey, you're the only one leaving yourself out. You need to go out and invest in some spider gear.
Stuff. Well, yeah, I'll talk about this a little bit later, but I bought something at the auction that...
Oh, really?
It's a little naughty.
Here's one thing I want to know. Has anyone ever showed up in like a Spider-Man costume?
No.
How many people show up to this?
It's like 150 probably.
So it's just everyone's studying.
Yeah.
That's about 140 more people than I was expecting.
Is there a lot of international people that come to the conference?
There are. So there's an international arachnology conference like every 3 years. So they have their own conference, but there still will be some people from, usually it's like from South America or Mexico, Central America will come up and do some of their, like present some of their research at the conference, which is really fun. And what's funny about it is like it's all people who study spiders, so it's just one thing that we all have in common that's so random that brings us together. So it's I don't know, it's a fun time.
Well, it's been about a month since we've heard from you, so is there like anything special that happened within that month? Anything you want to talk about?
Well, let's think.
Yeah, thinking's hard.
I know, I'm thinking about it. Well, I did listen to the last episode.
Oh, yeah. Because there was actually one specific part during the story I was presenting last time. I actually wanted to know, like, what your opinion of all that was. Like, if you were in her position.
Yeah, this is the Amanda story,
yeah,
correct?
Yeah.
No, that was crazy. That sounded just like that dude was just a dumbass. Like, he got in over his head.
Okay, so you agree with me.
No, I do. I think either he has some like severe like issues or both. I don't know. Like, it seems like he just kind of was trying to impress her and then just got in over his head and just ruined any chance of like salvaging the relationship by just lying and lying and lying.
When in doubt, play that crazy card, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's like, why didn't he just break up with her if he was like gonna go to the lengths of saying Alaska?
A lot of guys don't like playing the bad guy.
Yeah.
She may have also not been the only one he was pulling her on.
That's true. Yeah.
He could have had multiple girls that he was working on.
That's probably
playing the field.
Yeah, exactly. You're right.
I mean, he's already manipulating and lying, so there's no telling what was behind.
Honestly, it's just sad for that poor girl who was ready to move to fucking Alaska with this guy. I feel bad for her. Hopefully she got a little...
Kudos to have your life together enough where you can actually do that.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Hopefully she has a little bit more... I don't know. Maybe she got a little bit of wisdom from this experience and won't let this happen again. Because some dudes like this are just... That's just trash. I feel bad for her. But it's also a crazy story.
Josh, anything new with you since the last time you and me talked... in the last podcast? I mean, I know I see it. Well, I don't even see you at work that much anymore.
Oh, yeah. Josh got promoted.
Yeah.
He's not at the bar anymore.
That's all right.
He used to be at the bar all the time, and now I go in there and it's just Curtis, which is, it's good, but it's only
fine.
half the fun,
Just seeing Curtis is just fine. Apparently.
No, but we need the banter between you two. That's the best part about.
I was
the bar.
there Friday. To
yes,
you.
No, yes, you were here. You were there on Friday. It was good. It was a good time.
Yeah, I had an experience last weekend, so.
Ooh.
But it wasn't like dating or anything. It was just it was just a hookup. So. Outside of that,
we fucked up.
Promotion and no.
Oh.
I was drunk, but not like.
No. Yeah, got you. Oh yeah. Okay, I can talk about this. While I was at the conference, I had a night. The last night, it was the banquet, and I drank I drank a little bit too much, I think.
Well, if you're at a banquet, it should be Coors Banquet.
Well, it was a bourbon banquet, really. I was drinking bourbon.
Oh, God.
Speaking of beer, tonight's beer
Oh, no. We're not talking about
is the one
beer.
and
no,
only.
no.
Oh, God,
No.
The Natty Light
Oh, my
in the Cincinnati.
We're drinking Natty and the Natty.
We're here in the nasty Natty drinking.
Yeah, but we're
the
not doing
nasty
this.
Natty
We're not
Light.
doing this Natter Day shit. We're just doing the straight OG stuff.
Dude, I did one case of Natter Days, and I can never drink another one ever again. It's just
Wait, what
a
is
can-
Natter Days?
so
Josh,
it's
you got this.
pink lemonade mixed with Natty
Ew.
Light. It's like a half and half, but
Dude,
Yeah.
there's people who fucking love it.
but they still retain 4% ABV. It literally tastes like the most sugary prepackaged pink lemonade.
Wait,
gross.
it's pre-made? Or it's...
I mean, it's-
oh, you make it...
You
Yeah,
You
it's
just
in the
pour
can.
it.
It's in the
You
can.
can go buy it. It's called Natter Day.
Oh, shut up. I thought you meant like people
This is
just
what you
mix
drink
it.
on the weekend.
No, it's like
the
they-
summer.
people
No, it's
mix
called Natter
it.
Day. It's
Shut
Yeah.
up. Oh my God. It's like the strawberry.
I'm shocked you haven't heard of this yet.
I know, me
You can
too.
walk 20 feet over there and buy a single can.
Where? From
At Riddle.
Riddle? Yeah, Riddle Road. That's funny. I should do it. Gotta try it out. I mean, I'm into all of these seltzer, the
It's
seltzer drinks.
it is pure sugar. I'll admit, like, you don't taste beer at all. It tastes like
It just
drinking
tastes
pink
like-
lemonade, but it's
yeah.
just so much sugar.
Yeah.
You have like one. I'll recommend one on ice.
Okay.
It's
Yeah, with
super
ice,
refreshing,
I think ice-
especially in this heat right
Yeah.
now.
Oh, speaking of which.
Yeah, speaking of which,
It is fucking 99 degrees outside.
and because of that, the AC in the studio kind of just stopped working. So we're currently in Josh's apartment right now.
In his bedroom.
So
actually.
if the sound sounds a little,
I have a
oh my
trap.
goodness.
We have
So if it sounds a little different in here, it's because of that. Please work through us with this. We just really want to try and get consistent content. We didn't want to wait another week to try and
Yeah.
get stuff out. We just really, we don't know what the sound is like right now, but from what it looks like to us, it's good enough to record.
Not
And
too bad.
honestly, we're pretty average people, so we're going to go with a pretty average recording right
Yeah.
now.
So if you hear a little like monotone humming in the background, just ignore it. It won't be there next time. Hopefully, as long as the AC gets fixed. Because honestly, Cincinnati summers are miserable.
Sticky.
Sticky, hot. You could cut the air with a knife.
Moist.
Oh,
It's-
jeez.
yeah, everyone's moist. I'm sticky and moist.
Well, okay. I just feel like I need to finish the story that I started about
Yes.
the banquet because I
Yes.
don't want to just like end on a, in the middle.
God,
of the
we
story.
got sidetracked so easily.
I know. Well, it's so exciting to be back all together again because I know I was gone. It's really exciting. But so at this banquet, it was really fun, and they were catered, and so there was a bar, and they had some wine, beer, and liquor. I was drinking bourbon on the rocks because I was hanging out with a bunch of older men, like
Since
advisor.
when are
people.
you a bourbon drinker?
Basically, since I started in this lab, really. No, like the spider lab.
It's
my
George.
Yeah, my PI George, he loves bourbon, and one time his wife Kitty had a art show, and at the art show they had a bourbon tasting. So that was like the first art show of Kitty's that I attended, and I like was one of the only younger girls at the place. So all the bourbon people were like super excited to talk to me and showing me all the different types of bourbon. And I was like, I don't really know much about bourbon. Like, what can you tell me? And so
Oh my God.
yeah. No, so I got to try all the best bourbons, the White Dog, everything. And ever since then, I've been kind of a bourbon girl.
I have some Four Roses.
Oh
in
shit.
some bourbon.
Maybe we should. Yeah, we'll have to.
I mean, most of my whiskey is Scotch.
Are we
Yeah.
considering
Have some.
Four Roses that good?
No, but it's
Okay.
It's bourbon. It's better than.
The way you said that, I thought you were saying like it's
No,
premium shit. I'm like,
Which is like I have some.
I'm just surprised that you. I would have thought it would only be Scotch or just regular whiskey here in this apartment.
Someone left the bottle here.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. But okay, anyway, so I'm at this banquet, and there's two bartenders. There's a young, kind of, attractive guy, and then there's an older woman. Okay, I get a drink from both of them to kind of, suss it out, see who's the better bartender. Obviously, it's the older lady. Her name's Sherry, and she was my bitch that night. She hooked it up. Like, it was crazy. I kept going back to her, only her, and I was like, Sherry, like, you are the best. Like, kept giving her good tips. more tips, more tips. She kept giving me more and more bourbon every pour. And it was a cash bar, and I didn't have any cash. So this was probably my best feat, was that I used like, I was at the table with all the older guys, right? The old men.
No. I see
and
where
so
this is
I
going.
was just like, hey, like, I don't have any cash, but if you buy me a drink, I'll go get us both one at the bar. So basically I was like, if you pay, I'll get it. Like, I'll be the waitress.
You just finesse them.
Yeah, I finessed him. I did some finessing, and I got way more than I probably should have had, because apparently later on that night, I got a little too truthful with my PI, which is principal investigator of our lab, basically my advisor, George. He told me, I don't remember this, but I haven't told him that, so he has to think that I was.
He's gonna hear it now.
No, I don't know if he knows about this podcast. I hope he doesn't.
Oh, he will.
Come Friday, he'll know.
George, come with me.
No, but I told him. He told me that at one point in the night I got very serious, and I looked at him and I said, I have a confession to make. And he was like, yeah, what is it? And I was like, I'm bisexual. And no, the funniest part is that he was like, oh, I know. Because at some previous time when we had been drinking bourbon, a previous time I got drunk and told him that already, like months before. And he was like, I know that already. Like, you've already told me. And I'm like, oh my God. Like, how embarrassing that, like, your drunk confession is, like, repeated. Like, you don't
So is that the
remember.
moral of the story? You drink bourbon, you tell everyone you're bi?
I guess I just felt like I needed to share that with him for some reason. So
It's your PI of all people, too.
I know. Well, you know,
Yeah,
he's
but George is a special PI.
yeah, and he's an older man, you know, and so sometimes I worry that that's something that he wouldn't understand, and so I think it's like been a thing in the
wanted to
back
reach
of my
out and help
head
him understand.
that I just want him to, like, I don't want him to judge me for it, but I don't want to, like, lie about it. I don't know. It's just been one of those things in the back of your brain, but it was a funny night.
Well, I just got back from the lake again. This time without Josh, unfortunately. But still got equally plastered. Still smoked equally same amount of cigars. But now we're back, all three of us. We're here to talk about some crazy dating experiences. And since I called Olivia to say, hey, we're going to be recording at Josh's today, she has been telling me about this story that I purposely have been not wanting to hear because I wanted to get, like, true end time reactions. And I'm really excited. She showed me how long the message was on this, and oh my goodness, it had to be, like, if you were to actually, like, type it out, it would probably be about half a page.
Yeah, probably half a page. I don't know. It's hard to say because on the phone it always looks a lot longer.
Yeah, no, but I can gauge pretty well. I think
Yeah.
double space, it's about half a page.
Yeah. Oh, double space for sure.
Oh, who the hell single spaces? Monsters.
Yeah, crazy.
Monsters, single space.
I single space.
You're a monster. I'm not taking back my statement.
My shit is dense.
So Olivia, do you want to share that with
Yeah,
us?
so okay, I'll give a little bit of, like, a background for how I got this story. So I know we were talking about getting more stories from, you know, folks who have had weird experiences with, you know, dating apps and just dating in general. And I was actually in Austin, Texas, visiting my friend, and the time I went down there to visit him, one of our other friends who lives in Boston came.
So this is the first story we have that's actually out of Ohio.
Yeah, it
Not
is.
true.
Wait, which other one do we have?
We had the one in Spain.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah, you're right.
You're the one who always has all the international
I
stories.
know, right? Well, this one's not international. It's out of Cincinnati. It's in Boston. But so this guy, he's been a friend for a long time, and I was like, we're trying to get more stories from guys because a lot of girls are more forthcoming with stories about, you know, weird experiences.
Guys are pretty crazy.
Yeah, and guys are crazy, but girls can be crazy too. But it's hard to, like, really get a guy who's willing to tell you the real story. So I asked my friend, and he told me about this one really crazy experience he had with a girl that he met on a dating app. And so basically I'm going to kind of do a little storytelling. I'm going to kind of read how he...
Oh, you're just going to read it straight from the...
Yeah, I'm going to read what he sent me so we can kind of get his kind of vibe for it, because honestly, after reading it, I'm not really sure who's in the right here.
That's the point of this podcast.
Exactly.
We're not here to tell who's in the right. We're here
Yeah.
to just tell something crazy that
We're here
happens.
to talk about what we think is right.
Exactly.
Doesn't mean
What
it's
do
right.
Right. I don't even know. And it's like everything is just so, you never know what perspective you're gonna get. But so let me just jump in.
We're going to be interjecting a lot.
No, yeah, we'll pick this apart, I think.
All right, let me drink my beer. Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay.
Let the
So
dissect begin.
we're starting. So basically, I met this girl on a dating app. Thought she was cute, and we had some similar interests. Makes sense. We hung out and hooked up a couple times. She ended up being pretty awkward in real life, and I could tell that she was a lot more into me than I was into her.
All right, so first off,
So let's start there.
off the bat, like, honestly, that's a hard thing to dissect right there. Saying, like, she ended up being more
Awkward in real life. I know, it's like...
So first off, in my stance with that, everyone can always text better than they are in real life because you have time. You
Yeah.
have time to think about what you want to say. You have time to think about... You have all the time in the world, really.
Also, your tone is
Huge.
almost uninterpreted through text.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah.
There's no way to put a tone, so you'll put on what tone you want to hear at first if you don't know that person, I think, as well. But
Yeah, for example, if someone says, like, yeah, maybe, in a text, that could
Yeah.
be like, yeah, maybe. Like,
Right.
yeah, I'm
Or
down
like,
to do it. Or, yeah, maybe.
or yeah, like basically no.
Yeah, and...
And if you don't know the person in person, then it's hard to kind of...
This is why these like online stories are so interesting to me, because think about it, every single like social dating app message starts with this interpretation of a voice in our head of how we think they're responding to
Yeah, yeah.
that. And it's a lot different when you get to the real life part. And what's crazy is the real life part really can be a polar opposite of what you had playing in your head the entire time.
Oh, yeah.
I love
Definitely.
that fact, especially because, like, you know, that's kind of what gives us our material.
Yeah, no, totally. I think what's crazy is just how much like communication has evolved just since the technology boom or whatever you call it, whatever this has been, this whole like evolution in our technology. Because now it's like we used to. I mean, I just remember being a kid and calling my friends on the phone to hang out. And you'd have to, like, it was their home phone, like their parents would answer, and I'd have to say, "Hello, this is Olivia. Can I please speak to Lucy?" Or, you know what I mean? Like, and it was
Apparently, this is a weird thing nowadays with like our generation and
Yeah.
the generation below us. But I always love phone calls.
Yeah.
I think phone calls are so much more clear. It takes less time.
Yeah.
You can get a lot of shit out of the way pretty quick.
Yeah.
And it's just you actually get the in real life responses. You don't get what's going on here with, you know, oh, they're a lot more awkward in real life than they are over
No,
text
yeah,
and stuff like
exactly.
that. You actually get the genuine responses in the moment.
In the moment, exactly. They have to think and speak and react.
So I grew up in the country, and you know,
Yeah.
phones weren't always there. But
What did you do?
you just go to the person's place.
Oh, you just walk over?
You just
Yeah,
go
you
over,
just
and
drive-
knock, and be like, "Hey,
yeah.
what are you doing? You want to hang out or whatever?"
You ride your bike over,
Yeah.
knock
So
on the
sometimes,
door.
you know, I'd
They
walk.
wouldn't even be there.
I'd walk 2 miles to a friend's house, and then they wouldn't be there, or you know, be like, "Oh, I'm busy," or
No,
you know,
Yeah, and I think about
surprise
like
visits was what I was used to.
I just think about like people meeting places nowadays. We all have cell phones to make sure that like when we get to the place, we're gonna find each other. But back then, it's like you call on your home phone, and say, "Okay, I'll meet you at the park in 30 minutes." What if like you got confused or you couldn't find them? Like, how long would it take for you to find that person if it was like?
And thus is why I was blown off by my friends a lot as a child.
Oh my god. Okay, well, let's get back on this story. So anyway, she was awkward in real life, which is it's kind of judgment, but you know, this is just how he was feeling.
Well, everyone's allowed to have their judgments.
No, exactly. And he said he could tell that she was more into him than he was into her, and that's always kind of like that's always just a bad sign, especially on a girl side. I feel like that's kind of the girl fear always, is that you like the guy more than the guy likes you. I'm sure.
I don't think that's just a girl thing. I think that's mutual. You always want like a mutual level of
exactly well,
attraction.
But I think I don't know. I think with girls we're like kind of conditioned through movies and TV and stuff that, you know, that the guy is gonna be a player or gonna, you know, fuck you over. So it's like you have to be sure that he really does like you enough. And if you do, you know, if you're too needy or too clingy, then he's going to be like, oh, that's too much. And I don't want to be with a girl like that.
I feel like women specifically do this thing where they like purposely do what's called creeping on guys, where they like check their social media and try and like see a lot of stuff.
That's okay. That's what we're getting into
Wait,
soon.
what?
We're about to get into that in this story.
Continue with the story.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So whatever. He realized that she was more into him than he was into her.
Okay.
So, back to the story. And pretty quickly, she did some stuff I considered weird and a little creepy. Like finding and adding me on Facebook before I'd even told her my last name.
This is what I was talking about. This yeah. No, I have had that happen so much.
Yeah, like, okay. See, that's like where you have to think, in this girl's brain, like, don't you think it's just a little bit weird to friend somebody if you don't even know their last name yet?
To be fair with me, it's a little different because there's not that many Curtises.
That's true.
Yeah, there's a lot of Joshes.
Yeah.
There's a lot of Joshes.
And I've been in this situation.
Yeah.
So what do you think then? Do you think that's creepy? Do you think that's weird?
Has someone found you?
No.
Yeah.
Well, okay. The problem is it's not creepy if you're into the bitch. That's the problem. He obviously isn't as into this girl as she was into him. And so for him, it's probably he's feeling a little weird about it. But if it was somebody that you were into, if you were like really into a girl and you just told him your first name and you went out a couple times and then you like went on Facebook and saw they added you, you'd be so excited. You'd be like, oh my God, they like really like me too.
One of the weird things about the world we live in right now.
Yeah.
Because this is what happens in this world. Let's
Get
say,
deep with
Olivia,
us.
we go on a date.
Yeah.
We've never met. We only introduce to each other as our first name.
First names, yeah.
Okay. We have our phones. You have Facebook? I have Facebook.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're in the same place. Guess what happens? The algorithm checks our GPS. So
Shut the fuck
when you
up.
go to Facebook as a suggested friend,
That's
if you
where-
spent a significant time in the same area as me, it'll say you probably know each other. So in this
So
instance,
they'll pop up first.
this happens a lot where it's not necessarily someone's creeping and trying to find. It's just you go in. My ex-girlfriend was this exact way.
Yeah.
You know, we hung out and then she came up as a suggested friend. And I was like, oh,
Yeah.
shit. Okay.
Where this gets a little interesting
That's
is
crazy.
if these two still were only talking through that app and didn't meet up in person. Oh no, we already know they met up in person because they.
Oh yeah, they met up. They hooked up, hung out and hooked up.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah,
So it got
it's
physical.
probably not that crazy.
Yeah, but it's like I didn't realize that that's how it works because sometimes like I get new suggested friends all the time and I'm like, where do they come from? Like who decides?
They have a very strong, complex algorithm that goes in between where you are located through a GPS compared to the other person and
Like
how many mutual friends,
friends,
you might have.
yeah.
And those things go in combination. Or if you check in at places and you're checking in the same places frequently the other person is,
Yeah.
you could be suggestive with.
I'm pretty okay with it because everyone that shows up on my suggested friends is like pretty attractive single
That
women.
was
So I'm like
Freudian slip right there.
Freudian slip. There we go.
women, yeah.
I don't friend them though. I will say that I don't friend them. I'm like, man, where the fuck did I see you?
Sure.
right, Curtis.
I will admit to my bullshit any day of the week. That is not something I do.
Okay. Okay. So anyway, so this girl adds him without knowing his last name. Stuff like that, he says. We were friends on Snap, and I could tell she was sort of keeping tabs on my location via the app because she mentioned something about where I was or had been, like in texts. And he said, didn't like that. And I was planning to phase out the relationship. Okay, first of all, phase out the relationship. I really hate that terminology.
Yeah.
I really, that's just one thing that's like
We're
giving
gonna
me
go
a
on
bias.
steady, slow crawl to the end.
Like, god damn it. Like, what? Don't act like it's like a fucking phase out
So with
a
the
human. It's like
with-
just like a slow ghost, you know?
with the public
What
Snapchat
does that
thing,
mean? Yeah.
I'm not really so sympathetic with the guy on this because if you are the kind of person that you got your Bitmoji out there, you're
Yeah.
showing your location,
Yeah.
fucking own up to it. Know that everyone can see where you are
yeah.
at any time.
I agree, but the thing is like, it is a little bit weird if someone's like, I mean, you can tell when someone's like.
Then go into ghost mode. Then go into, like, honestly, if you don't want people to see where you are, go into ghost mode.
But I guess he was just like, this kind of gave him a weird vibe because he was just having it open for other people, for friends, and then she's starting to be like, hey, like, saw you were at the pizza place, like, what'd you have for pizza? Or like, you know, like weird.
If you're asking that kind of shit, that's weird, but for example,
that's like kind of what he said to me in person. Like when we talked about it, like this isn't in like the chat, but he was like, she would just bring up really creepily
for me
specific,
because you and me both actually have our Bitmojis out there. If I saw you were downtown, I'd be like, yo, where are you at? Like, here, I'll stop by and get a drink with you.
No, I agree. I think it's all situational in this, and it's because he was feeling that about her, and that he had already had the whole Facebook situation, and I guess just wasn't feeling her, and she was just on a completely different boat. Like they were just in complete separate mindsets.
Well, the scales are slightly tipped already. Like he already wasn't feeling her that much. So every single reason he sees to not be with her,
exactly,
add on to it.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Whereas on the flip side, if maybe he did like her and she was seeing like, oh, like I saw you were here and here, he might be like, oh, wow, like she's giving me that attention. She like is into me like that.
No, exactly.
It really just depends. But in the stance he's in, he finds it weird. And, you know, everyone's different. Yeah. Some people might, like, for example, I don't give a shit if people know where I'm at.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever put myself in ghost mode.
Yeah.
If someone says, like, hey, why are you in this, like, area where there's an apartment complex? I'm like, well, I'm seeing someone right now.
Yeah, right.
I'm buying drugs.
Drugs. No, I have my Bitmoji, but I have, like, certain friends that I show my location to, which is, like, you and, like, Sarah.
And, yeah, see, he could have done that, too.
Yeah, right.
If he didn't want
I know, he could have just, like, specifically blocked her. But anyway, so... Okay, he felt it was weird. Anyway, he wanted to phase out the relationship, so he blocked her on Snap.
Okay.
And figured she wouldn't notice, at least for a while.
The old ghost move.
Yeah, exactly. I think he's just being bad at ghosting. He's just doing a terrible job. Literally, he says, a couple minutes later, she texted me asking why I'd blocked her on Snap.
That's weird.
Yeah. So she's obviously like hyper aware of his like movements online. You know what I mean? Like she's like on her like online investigator stuff. Like she's following his every move, it seems.
She needs to get into some criminal justice programs.
I know, right? He said, so that spooked me. So I just told her I was going through some stuff and needed space.
Which could be true.
Right. So like I feel like that's at least he was like honest with her. He was like, I need space from you. Like basically he could have been more clear and said like, I need space, like I don't want to see anyone. I think would have been the better way to say that. But at least he said like, I need space.
No, I think the right thing to say in that situation is I don't want to see you.
I mean, but not.
I think transparency. No, I think they'll be mad for a while. They'll get over it, and then maybe in time everyone can be buddy. But I think transparency is so key in all this shit.
You're right, but I think there's a lot of people who can't do that, and
and it's tough for a lot of people to do that.
I think it'd be better though just to say I don't want to see anyone, or just say that. That's like the easy like way to let somebody down. It's like I can't be seeing anyone. It's not you, it's me. You know, it's like the classic. It's just what you say. I don't know.
Everyone's heard that it's not you, it's me thing so many times that no one really buys that shit anymore.
I know.
For the most part. I mean, sometimes it's actually true and they still don't buy that shit.
Yeah, exactly. It's nobody ever wants to hear that. But then, anyway, so he told her he was going through some stuff and needed space. But she kept trying to talk to him. So he kept blocking her on his phone and then Facebook. And then she tried to add him on LinkedIn.
What?
Okay, that's the weird part. Like, and so he denied and blocked her. He's like, obviously, like, okay, it's like how many blocks do you have to get to like get the picture that like
at this point she needs to get the message.
Yeah, he said at this point I thought I'd blocked her on every platform. Sorry. But that was a good one. I wish I had a better burp.
What? Okay, come on, let's keep going.
We have burp offs. Okay.
Yeah, no, right. No, he said he thought he had blocked her from every possible internet platform, but then he remembered that they used to Venmo to split food costs.
No. Holy shit. Okay.
So,
let me hear this.
Dude, a few
give it to
days
me.
later, after he had blocked her from everything he thought that he could, like, block her from, he gets a Venmo, $1 Venmo, and in, like, the part that says, like, what's it for?
Yeah, what's it
so
for?
Venmo, if I don't know if anybody doesn't know Venmo, but it's like a place that you can send money to people.
Venmo, Cash App.
Yeah, Cash
even
App,
PayPal.
Apple Cash, yeah, that kind of thing. And you have to put a reason for, or like, what's the like payment for? And so
Even
she sent
Facebook
him.
Cash.
He sent him $1. She sent him $1 on Venmo with an apology and asking to talk to him. And he was like, and he sent me the screenshot of this message, so I'm gonna read it.
I'm going to look over your shoulder while you read it.
Okay, and this, I'm like, look, she's cute. She's like a cute little
Oh, yeah, she's cool.
Asian-ish. Like, she's very cute. So it's obviously couldn't have been like a physical thing. I mean, I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. Anyway, let's not get into that. She said, so $1. I'm sorry for overreacting. I don't know what you are going through. I feel like you hate me and I just want to talk.
First off, anyone who wants to pay me to talk to me, please do.
$1 per
Is
message.
there any more to this, or is that the end?
That's the last. So basically, he saw that, thought that was super insane.
That's
and
pretty.
so
That's pretty nuts.
he so he blocked her on Venmo, and of course, he has to like mention that he blocked her, and then initiated a bank transfer. So he took the $1. He had to make that very clear. Let's be clear too. This guy is.
Thanks.
He is a Jew.
Whoa.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
No, it was just a
Yeah.
stereotype joke.
It's a joke. So it sounds like she very desperately needed some type of closure to what was going on.
Yeah.
Also,
She just
There's
couldn't
no-
believe it. Yeah.
there's no, because this is his perspective, there's
Yeah.
no real telling how he really like tried to end things with
it. Yeah.
He could have been like, day one, everything's awesome, and then
Yeah.
day two, block.
Right.
And so she's like, what?
No,
The fuck?
exactly. I think it must have been something like that. Like he didn't let on that he wasn't into it, and then it all happened.
But I mean, like, when you say something, I need to phase this out.
yeah, no,
It
like,
kind of sounds like you just ghost people.
yeah, exactly.
a
Like
lot.
he's just trying to ghost.
At the end of the day, like I've said before, transparency.
Yep,
is
just be upfront.
Yep, be upfront.
It's going back to this, it's not you, it's me. Well, I mean, the other things you could say in being upfront is like, well, you are just not what I'm looking
It's
for.
just not-
So, like,
yeah.
it's not me, it is you. But it's,
It's
not
you,
like
but
a
it's not
negative
your
thing
fault,
towards you.
yeah.
Exactly. It's just, this is not what I'm looking for.
Right, you're just like, it's not working.
Yeah. Full
This isn't-
transparency.
yeah,
It
exactly.
doesn't always have to be like, you fucked it up or I fucked it up.
No,
It
yeah.
can just be,
Like maybe
this isn't going to
nobody-
work.
Maybe nobody fucked
Like,
it up. Yeah.
Like, I don't think you can fool anyone. This isn't gonna work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
But
don't
that's
know.
she desperately went for an answer.
Yeah,
She
it
needed
was-
closure
she
back.
really- it
So
was-
it tells me that he said a lot of things to her and worked that thing up to a pretty high peak for
Yeah.
her to claw
No,
after
I
and
know
stuff like
exactly.
that.
She really she must have whatever time they spent together must have meant like a lot to her.
Maybe she has separation issues.
Yeah, or maybe it's hard to say, and maybe she does, and maybe she's just in such. It's just crazy to me that she couldn't take any of those signs as him like not liking her, like, or not wanting to talk to her, or not want to be with her. She just kept going. She must have been thinking in her head like, no, like this doesn't mean he doesn't like me. This just means like he's hurting or like needs help, or like I'm trying to like figure out where she's coming from, because in your head you have to like make sense of it when you like you rationalize it in some way.
It's hard to say without the other perspective.
Yeah,
There's not enough
exactly.
information.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
All we can do is speculate, but
So it's really interesting is because, like, I don't know if you remember, like, when we were in the car together, I said,
Yeah.
I really hope your story kind of lines up with mine. And it actually kind of did. To anyone who thinks that, like, we have a bunch of stories and we, like, plan them out for a theme for this, we really don't. We just kind of take what we have
We take stories and play them out.
and, and we just run with them. And the one I got is actually kind of similar to this in the stance of, like, potentially not getting the message, or maybe there not being the right, signs there.
okay, yeah.
Kind of thing. So, the story I have, we got a bunch of different characters in this, so we're going to give some phony names. So we're going to start off with Alex.
Okay, Alex.
So Alex here,
This is the dude, right? It's
yeah,
the dude?
Alex is, should we?
Well,
yeah.
no, just Alex. It could be.
Alex
both,
could be a girl's name.
But we can just. Well, it's a dude, Alex.
Yeah.
This is a masculine male, Alex.
Alex. What the hell was that?
Alex. His name is Alex.
Jesus. Okay, so we got Alex, and we'll play some alliteration here. Ashley.
Oh, okay.
We'll do Alex and Ashley.
Fun.
So these two met each other. They started, just small talk, social dating app kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of went pretty quick. They went on their first date from... Here, let me get my notes here. They went on their first date...
Keep it factual.
They went on their first date about 3 days after they started talking. They said,
Okay.
like, hey, do you want to go on a date with me? And it was like a quick yes. And they actually... So this was around December time.
Okay.
And it was here in Cincinnati, the Fountain Square has an ice skating rink, and they went ice skating together. It was like a really cool thing, really chill, all that kind of stuff. And, it was all good, stuff like that. And then throughout the rest of December, which, wasn't really that long, only 6 more days, they kind of got pretty serious. And things were going well with both of them. And, the 3 magic words were dropped, all that stuff.
Oh.
And
That is fast then.
yeah. Within 6 days, you would think.
6 days, yeah.
But here's the thing, Alex wasn't the one to say it first. It was Ashley.
Ashley?
Ashley was the one to say it first. And it wasn't even like she said it intentionally. She kind of like it just slipped out of her mouth.
Oh, really?
Like he dropped her off, all that stuff, and he said like, "Okay, have a nice day," and she's like, "Okay, I love you," and she was like,
Oh. An
But
accident.
still, in my opinion, like if that
Sounds like it was habit.
Yeah.
From
you think
some
it was
previous-
habit?
Yeah.
Could have been, yeah.
I'll say that because I used to work at a previous job with this guy, and I feel bad for his wife, but it had become such habit that talking on the phone, like whatever, when he would talk to his wife, he would always say, "I love you." So at the end of every phone call, didn't matter who he was talking to, could be me, our boss, whatever, he'd end it with "love you" and hang up because it was just a habit. Like he's
No,
not
yeah.
consciously thinking about it.
No, that's hilarious.
Which is maybe what that was.
So
I can
they
relate to
dated
that.
for a while, all that stuff,
Yeah.
and Ashley still had some like some damage from her ex at the time, kind of
Okay.
thing,
Mm-hmm.
and it ended up breaking off because she couldn't handle having a boyfriend. Well,
Oh.
it ended up getting to the point where just like neither of them talked for a really long time and stuff like that, and just randomly they were blocked on everything.
Yeah.
But this is the weird part for me that I don't understand. Is at one point, he was going through social media and stuff,
Yeah.
and sees like a suggested friends. It wasn't quite on Facebook, it was on a different one, and saw suggested friends and saw her, and he was like, huh.
Wait, so Alex saw Ashley on
Yeah.
suggestion?
So Alex saw Ashley, and then he
What?
looked up and he's like, this
Huh.
is her OG account, the one that I thought I blocked. So he adds her,
Wait.
messages her, and says like, okay, what's going on here?
Yeah.
And she's like, what are you talking about? He's like, why are you unblocked on mine? Why am I unblocked on yours? And she's like, I don't know, but honestly, I don't mind talking to you.
Yeah.
And she's even said to him multiple times, here, let me get just like bullet point notes here.
Wait, so
Yeah, let me back up here.
I'm confused.
How did he initially find that he was unblocked on her profile?
Because he was able to add her. And like, so if you're blocked on something, you can't see
Right,
the
but-
other
Yeah.
people.
But like, did he go to her profile to see if he could add her?
Well, he went to her profile to see like if she made like a false account or something, like a second account.
No, because it was suggested friend. That's why.
Yeah.
He saw her as a suggested friend, and he was like, I thought I had blocked her, but
Gotcha.
this is the same girl, the same name.
And Ashley blocked Alex too, so it's weird for both of them.
So they blocked each other?
Yeah.
Huh.
And somehow they just both weren't anymore.
Yeah.
And one thing he said was like, in the past when they were like falling out and stuff like that, she said things like, you were a great boyfriend, I just wasn't ready,
Yeah.
things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And he would even say like, did I ever do anything wrong or anything to upset you? And she would say, no, you really didn't.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's curious.
So they start talking again and
Yeah,
stuff like
yeah.
that. And he finds out she's talking to someone else.
Okay.
And from what Alex told me, it sounded like he was really, really into her.
Good one, Josh.
Like,
Sorry.
it really sounded like Alex loved her.
Oh wow.
And their relationship went well. She even would bring up things like,
But
I
she
could
was
see you
talking
as
to someone else at this point.
well, yeah, at this point. But back when they were dating,
Yeah.
she would say things like, I could see you as like my potential like husband,
Like
even.
my life partner.
Yeah. And what was crazy about all that is when they started re-talking and stuff like that.
Yeah.
They when they were reconnecting, one thing he said was, what do you want to do? Like, you said you want to keep talking. What do you want to do?
Yeah,
and she
yeah.
says, I want to get close to you.
Huh.
He's like, okay, well, what about this thing with the other guy?
Right, yeah. She's talking to another guy, but she wants to get close to Alex. But
So the problem here is that the guy that she is talking to, although they were doing well in the beginning,
Yeah.
he started treating her like poop.
oh, jeez.
He started saying like, oh, you're kind of annoying. He only would want to hang out on his time, not on her time.
Oh, fuck.
She would stay up so late because the guy works super late, right?
Oh my god.
She would stay up late waiting
Like,
to
waiting
see
to
him
see him?
till like 3 a.m. and he would
Oh
just
my
be like, "No, I don't feel like it," and she'd be like,
Oh my god.
"Okay, yeah, no, it's kind of
No,
sucks, right?"
that reminds me of a person I dated once.
So, and once again, she reiterated the same things of like, you never did this to me, you were great, all that stuff.
Yeah, right. Like,
So what he did was he talked to her and said like, hey, do you think there's anything between us again?
Right, like a chance.
All Ashley said was like, I just want to be close. I want to work on being
Okay.
close. And so he sent me a screenshot of what he said.
yeah.
What he said was, let me pull it up.
Yeah.
All right, then let's be close. Let's take it slow, hang out, and we will keep everything 50-50. Let's lay it out and work on being with each other, and that's it. Just like being next to each other,
Yeah.
okay? And she said,
Okay.
I'd agree to that. Well, then, he has all these feelings for her, all that stuff.
Yeah, it comes back.
And she
Yeah.
says that she will take this other guy over Alex if that guy ever decides he wants Ashley to be his girlfriend.
Seriously?
Yeah.
So
Fuck.
here's my standpoint. No matter what the relationship was prior,
Yeah.
if you both have to come to a term where you have to block each other,
Yeah.
there's something inherently toxic emotionally between you two that
Yeah.
requires you to force each other to stay away.
Yeah.
So if the opportunity arises to come back, it's probably best you don't,
Yeah. No, yeah. I mean, yeah. It's pretty.
regardless of how everything else felt.
Right. It seems really like
You shouldn't
it's
ever
pretty-
have to completely block someone else out of your life if that was meant to be okay.
Yeah.
So the reason he said that had to happen, though, was just because of the fact of the damage with the ex and stuff like that. It was leading into her not being herself. And one of the things he said was, like, he noticed when he was with her that there was a lot of that damage still carrying on. And I asked him, like, so do you still want to, like, be something with her?
Yeah.
And he said, honestly, I think she and I would be amazing together once she heals from her breakup.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which, if she's talking to this other guy, seems
Yeah.
like Ashley has.
Yeah. Well, what it kind of seems like to me from her, like, just thinking as a girl, woman, whatever, is just that so maybe she still isn't ready, honestly, or maybe she is, or maybe she's just kind of damaged and she's going to be that forever. But she likes the guy who treats her bad. That's what she likes. She's attracted to the asshole, obviously.
That honestly could be the thing.
No, because she really likes this new guy who, like, doesn't have enough time for her, who's, like, not the best dude. And she
It's-
says, like, if he could ever change, then she would want him. But it's like, I think it's that behavior that
It's the
she's
classic
attracted
nice guys
to.
finish last scenario.
Yeah, I think so. I think she's attracted to, like, not nice men and men who do give her attention. It's like all about that chase or whatever. There's that reverse in women, like women who only like guys who, like, act like they don't like them, or you know what I mean, like they only like a guy if it seems like they don't like them back, and then once they actually show that they like them, it's like the whole fun is gone or something.
It's kind of also hard to say because, in my experience, generally in that
Yeah.
situation of like one person is kind of talking to two,
Yeah.
one will kind of talk shit about, person A to person
Yeah.
B, and see how they respond to that, and then how they treat them, and then vice versa. And it's kind of an identifier, like, which one am I looking that's going to treat me better?
Dude, I fucking hate that game bullshit. Like, honestly.
That's very, that is, like, even more
Because the other thing, to that is, going back to this old saying of nice guys finish last, honestly, a lot of times, you probably weren't so nice.
Yeah.
Because that girl was talking shit about the other guy, you think you were nicer.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
in that situation,
just
you
don't
might not have been.
know.
You might have been in the asshole.
Yeah, you don't know what she's saying
She
to the
wanted to
other
see how
guy
you were.
about what you had been, like, right? You don't know if she's telling you the truth about the other guy. He could be, into her.
And you know, it's a really interesting dynamic whenever you have these like love triangle scenarios in here. So like,
Yeah, no.
because obviously like this Alex guy really likes Ashley.
Yeah, no, I know.
Ashley has liked Alex, but
Sorry
likes
for the
this
burps.
other guy.
Yeah.
Somebody burps.
And
No, yeah, it sucks because it seems like if Ashley could just get out of her own head and just like the guy, like Alex, who would actually treat her right, then that would be the easy solution. But unfortunately, Ashley probably, I don't know, you don't know what Ashley, if she's even in the right here. She could be, maybe she's playing
Again,
both of them.
It's hard to know. We're missing information. We don't have her perspective. So we don't know. Maybe the other guy was the one treating her right. You know, like we don't know. We don't have enough information on that.
have you ever thought about what's gonna happen one day where we're like we tell one story and then like the other person figures out it's them and then tells their side of the story and we're like we evaluate it completely differently based on that.
It'd be interesting.
Could be. Could very well be.
I know. Well, it seems like what I like about this is that we do try to look at it from every angle. Like, we can only speculate because obviously we aren't these people and we just hear the stories, but we try to make, see from all angles.
Well, I mean,
and
the other
see
thing
from,
to think about is no matter what the story is, most of the time, people are going to try to shed a story that kind of shows them in the best
in
Always.
the best light.
Always.
Yeah.
There's very few people who will humble themselves like, oh no, I was a fucking dick.
Yeah.
I did this person wrong and I'm sorry.
Right. Yeah.
Very few people do that.
Exactly.
I can agree with that a lot too. Like, there's definitely points where like I've been past the breakup and stuff like that, and I thought to myself, and I'm like, yeah, I could have handled that a lot better. And I'll even say, like, if I'm not blocked or anything like that, I'll say like, hey, I'm really sorry that I was this way.
Don't we all? Don't you like lay down at night to go to sleep, and then you're just distracted by something you did 15 years ago? Like, I should have done this differently.
Oh my God.
And then you can't sleep.
Shut
that
up.
Yeah,
happens
next
to me.
thing you know,
That
you're up till
happens
3
to-
a.m.
This is why I can't sleep. I think about shit I've done forever ago, and I'm like, things would have been so much different if I just would have done it this way.
Oh my God.
Yeah, people like honestly, anyone who has like severe anxiety probably suffers from that like a
Could be.
severe amount. Yeah.
Yeah. No. Yeah. I mean, but
I don't really know what
you
to
gotta
give.
try and stay in the present with that.
I don't really know what to give. Like
I never said I was mentally okay.
I know. It's just. Yeah.
my thing I want to say on that, like, if I could like speak to Alex again, would be like if she's someone you really care for, at least try something mutual.
Yeah. Like just friends or
because of what was said in that story, give her space and time.
Yeah.
Maybe
she'll come back.
If you had that discussion where like things could work out, if she got over her ex, maybe she needs time, and sometimes that
maybe
could
she
be 10
needs to
years,
be
something
with
could be
this-
20 years,
And
it could
honestly-
be 5 weeks.
Yeah.
You don't know. It could take time.
And honestly, that's something to be helpful. Like, first off, I never think that someone should quit looking because they think they found the right one.
Absolutely, I agree with that.
I
statement.
think Alex, one thing I would definitely do if
No,
I were
yeah.
Alex, I would keep dating, even find a girlfriend or something like
Well,
that.
the other thing is sometimes you think you found the one and it doesn't work out
time will
Time will
always
tell you
tell.
it
Time
probably
will
wasn't the
always
one.
tell. Yeah.
Yeah.
because love is blind, right?
Yeah.
Eventually, it'll like the only
But-
thing that's constant is time, and eventually you'll.
But the
find
thing
out.
is, if this guy has proved in a short amount of time that he is an asshole, has like done things wrong, does not change his course of pattern, it's not gonna fucking change.
Yeah.
Eventually, you fall back to the habits that you have and all this stuff, and this guy that you're quote unquote competing with, he's going to show his true colors.
Yeah.
And
and you just have to hope that.
And if things line up again where you're single and she's single, and
Yeah.
and that's why I said like try and keep a friendship between you two. Try and talk and just communicate with each other
you
as
don't,
friends.
Yeah, don't be. Yeah. If for at this point with Alex and Ashley, I would say, yeah, now they're friends on Facebook. They should unblock each other from stuff. Be in like a friendly relationship. They don't have to be BFFs. They don't have to be talking all the time, but keep it cordial. And then
hang out once a month, maybe.
Yeah, and then
Hey, things happen.
yeah, if something happens, like if they both are feeling that way,
Worst
then,
case, you got a friend, and what's wrong with that?
yeah, exactly. Friends are. I mean, what would we do without
Which is
friends?
the key to dating, by the way.
Yeah, you
You
gotta
don't have to
friends.
always look for the long term. Things don't work out, you could have a new friend.
Yeah.
No, exactly. And I mean, honestly, friends last much longer than like datings usually do.
Oh, yeah.
I've really tried to keep like a very sometimes distant friendship with most of my exes. You know, just kind of like a thing where if I run into you, I'm like, oh, hey, like, how are you doing, kind of thing.
I have a real hard time with that. I've not really been able to be friends with any of my exes.
There are
actually.
exceptions to every rule. Sometimes people take it a little too far. Yeah.
But I mean, it's not anything that I like wish them poorly. It's just I don't think I could talk to them now. Like it's just like better to be separate. I have one ex that I would be friends with still, and it's because we were friends before we started dating. You know what I mean? Like I went to high school together, and we all had like similar friends.
Had
And,
like a small fling or something like that.
well, no, we dated for like 6 months, but like
Okay.
we still have friends in common, and we still are, you know, friendly with each other when we are in the same place. And I just feel like because of our like, I don't know, our mutual friends, it's hard not to like have that person in your life. But a lot of other people, it was kind of just like once we weren't together, it was like that's kind of if I see them, I wouldn't like not wave, but I don't know if I would like go talk to them.
One thing I love about this podcast is the more and more we drink, the more and more we get tangent on things. And we already get tangent on things pretty
It's
hard.
fun. This could be a longer podcast. It could take longer.
It's a reunion. We're back
Yeah.
together.
Yeah, there's a lot of shit to talk
But
about.
there's also like you drink things you'll hang out. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. But what I wanted to say before that was that the one thing that I think sometimes people forget, or I know maybe I forgot it when I first started dating in like high school, you know, like my first boyfriend was like 16, was like your friends, especially if they're true friends, like friends are for life. If
They
it's
are.
a real true friend, they are for life, always. But like people that you date, they feel like they're your everything at that moment, but you always have to have like your friends in your life, because if that doesn't work out, you can always go back to your rocks, your friends, the people that will be there. And because there's no romance or relationship or, you know, sex involved, it keeps it, I don't know, somehow stronger.
And to touch on that a little bit, it really is that level of intimacy that gives you the feeling of more than friends. It's really strange. Honestly, like with today's age, I feel like it's fading out a little bit, but you know, sex used to be this thing where it was this next level of intimacy. And we're kind of in an age right now where it seems like, you know, everyone's kind of been with everyone.
Yeah.
Oh, I think it's just social acceptancy, because I think I could be wrong, but in the study of humans, I think it's pretty well determined that we're not supposed to be monogamous at all. Our species was pretty much designed to be in a community, but as opposed to like one pair,
Yeah.
wasn't supposed to be. I think
Yeah.
it was over time. It kind of we forced
Well,
ourselves
as
to be
like
monogamous.
society
And
became
now,
more
I
of
think
a-
as society is more connected than ever, I think that that ancestral inherent thing is bleeding out again. Like
Yeah,
monogamy
because
isn't necessarily-
before, I mean, you could almost take it like symbolic. So, like, for example, a lot of religions, they talk about monogamy and stuff like that and all the sort of things. But it's really the symbolism, more or less, of like, you're giving yourself to someone and saying, this, I am only for you. I'm giving
Yeah.
you, like, the gift of myself.
Well, and it's, I think, also, like, when we think about going back to our true roots, like, it's about procreation. And it's about making babies and being a family and your fitness and making sure that your blood lasts the next generation. So you're going to find somebody and you're going to make that baby, and you guys are going to be a family and raise that baby to be the best it can be so that it can make more babies. I mean, this is just me as my biologist self thinking about an evolutionary mechanism.
That's a form of attraction, though. Like, that's a basis of attraction.
Yeah, so exactly.
You are identifying strong genes.
Yeah, and you pick them, and the way that people want to raise kids is together, because that will make, I mean, I don't know, like, usually they say, you know, kids who have two parents, maybe not even their biological parents, but they have like a family in that way, grow stronger, more psychologically stable children.
I've always hated the quote, blood is thicker than water, because the actual quote is the blood of the covenant is thicker than the water of the womb, which actually does show the side of your friends can be closer than your family.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be where I am today with my friends, for sure. My friends have supported me through a lot.
Yeah.
Which,
definitely more than my family knows.
And that honestly comes full circle to if you and someone that you did date, and you honestly genuinely like them as a person, and you think they're a good person, there is no goddamn reason you two should not try your hardest to be each other's friend.
Yeah.
Because that friendship is way more important than the kind of relationship you guys did have.
Yeah. Yeah, as long as there's no, like, negativity there. As long as there's no toxicity or, like, you know, any negativity within that relationship. If it can be all positive and good will towards each other, then I think you're 100% right, Curtis.
That's the way I see it. That's why I absolutely hate the quote, blood is thicker than water, because that gives the incentive that, like, oh, your family should always be, like, closer than your friends.
I didn't realize that was the real quote. Blood of the covenant is thicker than the water of the womb.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. And
you would know that.
It got distorted. It got distorted pretty hard.
Yeah.
Just because of the fact that, like, you know, everyone always thinks, oh, they're family, I can't turn my back on them. That is bullshit. I know people whose moms have tried to, like, extort them for money and all this stuff.
Yeah, it's not always.
That's not what a family does. No. Your friends can be a family to you. You can.
Which comes to another point. You can, for sure, cut out toxic family members from your life.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I even read an article not that long ago talking just about that. How
I think that's
whether you should or should not cut out toxic family members.
I think that's something that's been starting to be seen by a lot of people nowadays. Is that, you know, cutting out some problematic or toxic family members is perfectly fine.
Yeah.
I know, for example, I know a family where this guy was adopted.
Yeah. And
his adopted family, you know, the only family he's known, has tried, like, you know, putting all the blame on him and saying, like, it's his fault for this and this, even his fault for, like, the death of his father with, like, you know, serious heart conditions and stuff like that.
What?
And he just kind of said, like, no.
Yeah, no.
Fuck you.
No,
I'm done with this shit.
Yeah, no, that's.
Well, I think the issue is that people is always telling each other, you know, we're family. You always stick together. But regardless of what type of horrible human you are, just because you have a biological or blood immediate tie
to that person, you owe them something.
You have an obligation to respect and love that person.
That should be it. It should always
and it shouldn't be that.
No, it should only be like a mutual, you know, like giving and receiving of respect and help and love. Like you can't, like, that's what a real family is, I think.
The moral of all this, though, is that even if
we got really deep there, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. Even if you and someone didn't work out, even if you and someone didn't work out, and you both have talked about before being friends, I think both parties should do their hardest, because who knows? Let's use the example of Alex and Ashley again.
Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe in time you two are a thing again. It's like you said, Josh. You know, love is blind and it will always find its way. Kind of thing.
Time will tell, and time will tell with Alex and Ashley. No, and Curtis, I want you to, like, keep tabs on Alex, because I want to figure out, like, let us know if anything changes with that situation, because I'll be interested to hear.
That's all on him. He's heard and seen the first 2 episodes at least, so he definitely knows we're out there. By the way, for anyone who is hearing this right now, we still are only on YouTube. We haven't quite had the funds yet, or the views, or the subscriptions, likes, whatever yet.
So subscribe, like.
Oh my God! Don't do that shit.
No, I know. I just, you know, it's just the way for it to work.
If someone's listening to this, they either A, already are liked and subscribed, or B, are determining whether they should. Okay. I am not an advocate of having to tell your audience, to like and subscribe.
Yeah.
If they
Well,
like
I
your
just say,
content, they
please-
want to follow it.
No,
they'll
but
do
I,
so.
as a
I will
person
say-
who listens to podcasts and doesn't think to like or subscribe because I'm just like, oh, this is cool, and then I'm just ADD and I think about something else and I don't actually click it. It's nice when they're like, don't forget to subscribe or like if you like this. That's all I'm trying to say. Sorry.
To be fair, it actually does help out.
No, yeah. I mean, it's good for us, and if you really do like it, then just,
Yeah.
click the button, I guess.
Because I forget what the exact requirement is to get on Spotify and iTunes, but there does have to be a certain amount of viewership amounts and stuff like
Yeah.
that for it to hit that.
Yeah.
But I actually do think we'll hit that
Yeah.
eventually.
We'll see. We'll just see how it goes. But anyway, I think we'll probably wrap it up here.
Yeah, I think this is a good point to call it for today.
Yeah.
Especially because it is starting to get a little sticky in here too. God,
Yeah.
this freaking weather.
I know, this fucking Cincinnati heat is horrific.
It's a little rough.
Yeah.
It's a little rough.
But
For one last time, Josh Dean, Olivia Bauer Nelson, and me, Curtis Joseph, all together here at the right swipe.
the right swipe.
Please join us again next time. Hopefully, we'll have everything together by next week.
Yes.
And we will hear you guys. Please also give us your stories. If you know anyone, anything,
Oh yeah, send us your stories. We'd love to hear them. We'd love
you
to
can
get
find
any
us
new.
on pretty much everything. Olivia's got Facebook, Olivia
Yeah.
Bauer Nelson, Curtis Joseph. It's the person who's water skiing for the
Right
profile.
Swipe has a YouTube,
Yeah,
has
yeah.
a Twitter,
The Right-
has an
yeah.
Instagram, has a Facebook,
Facebook, yeah.
has an email.
You can
If
just
you-
send it all on there. That would be
All
probably
the
best,
information is
most
on any
easiest
of
way.
those
Yeah.
social media websites. If you
If you
want
heard of us from a friend, tell the friend and have them find us, kind of thing. Like, keep talking back. We want to hear everyone's stories as much as possible.
For
Thank you
sure.
guys so much for everything you've given us so far.
Yes, thank you so much for all of your support.
And we'll see you guys in a week.